Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Wicked Art. It's Wicked here, and it's our time-lapse Thursday. So for this, I just called it King on the Mountain just because I wanted to draw a really big, huge guy. But I've never really messed with snow or in the mountains, really tried to draw it digitally for some reason. And since I'm going to be doing some stuff in the mountains in my graphic novel, I just wanted to go ahead and just test it out and give it a try. So I just kind of drew this scene of like a big old Viking looking dude kind of standing on the mountain. But yeah, so I just drew it out, sketched the background. I got the background on a completely separate layer, and then I have the snow in the foreground with the character. That way, when I go in and start doing the shading, it doesn't affect the background at all. So right now, I'm just doing like my typical thing where I like to outline the entire thing with a really thick line. So I just go around the image in the negative spaces and just thicken it up. Kind of like a manga comic a little bit, just to make it pop out in the front a little bit. It's not necessary. I mean, I could have left it alone with some varied line work, but then I wanted to go in and do some more practice with, comic book hatching, shading. Um, I still have some things that I'm working on personally just to make it because for the next volume or the second volume of my graphic novel series, it's gonna be a much darker tone. So like where I'm doing like kind of a Saturday morning cartoon type look. It's going to be a lot darker and grittier, so I'm probably going to change up my hatching a little bit and just practice even more just to get better at it. Just because, like I said, it's going to have a darker tone, so it's going to have a lot more detail in it. Um, so yeah, so I'm just going through getting darkest areas and highlighting that for shadow, and then going in and just hatching on the edges. I do a lot of pulling back just so I can get an idea of what it looks like. Because a lot of times, when a comic prints, you can't really zoomed in unless it's a close up of the person. So since this was a far away shot, I just figured I'd zoom out, see how it looks, zoom back in, and get it up. So I'm just kind of like defining the muscle details on the chest, and then just continuing to hatch. So the light source, the way it's done, I'm doing it more free. It's not 100% like what you would call real world accurate. I'm just doing what looks cool. In my comic or my graphic novel, I tend to make it more accurate to real life. So I would shade in the direction where the sun is actually coming, but this one I just decided to just shade up and just kind of wing it and just see how it went. Um, I found that certain areas of the fur, I probably don't want to shade in too much. I wasn't really going for like a Jim Lee DC style of shading where everything's like almost pretty much black and there's barely any color in there, especially like what he did with this Batman work, which not knocking it, man is a master, but just myself personally, I just didn't want to go too dark with it. So I just wanted to kind of heavy up some areas and get that in. So it's a little bit easier when you get down to the fur level down there on the bottom. And I just really wanted to get in just those edges where the sun's hitting and just fill it in bit by bit, especially where the wrinkles and the overlays are. Um, uh, so like I said, he's supposed to be kind of like a Viking character, but I put some kind of more modern. It's just a fantasy picture of just how I'm describing him. So once I finish that, I go on from here. I switch to the background layer and just go in and kind of shade in certain areas that are facing away to just kind of give it more depth. It really didn't take that long since the snowy mountains. There's not going to be too much detail showing. And then I just picked a regular, just kind of like a peachy skin color, just to start coloring the base. So I just made a base color level, and I just started going around. Now, I could have highlighted him and kept myself from going outside, but with enough practice, you really don't mess that up too much. So where I did here and there, I just quickly hit the Alt key and picked, um, the former color I was on just to help beef it up. So I wanted to keep kind of this a Viking color scheme. They wore a lot of fur and leather, armored stuff. So a lot of the stuff is like more of a brown color, so brown on brown. I wasn't trying to go like crazy. I know a lot of times you want to like mix colors up, but I wanted to stay more true to life on it. So I just kind of went in and filled all that in. And then for like the snow, I didn't want to go like pure white, so I just went in and kind of did like the lightest gray that I could get that was close enough to snow. So you could see me kind of changing it out. And as I worked my way around, just making sure I don't go outside too much. I turned the background layer off just because the color was so light it was hard to see if I was actually filling it in. So that's a nice little trick with the checkerboard back on there, is you can just kind of turn the bottom layer off. And then I went into the background and went with a darker tone, which traditionally it would be lighter, but I just decided to go against the grain and just, again, what looked cool. And then there's that whole area off the edge of the cliff. I just kind of darkened that up because I wanted to make a new layer between there so I could do like a haze coming off the edge of the mountain, like a fog. And I started just shading. So I put a shadow layer down just above the background colors, and then I did a forward shadow layer. And then just using the airbrush, just kind of touching up different areas of shading. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Once I got the shading done, I used like a toothbrush splatter brush and just kind of painted it on there and did like a motion blur. So anyway, I hope you had fun. I hope you learned a little something. Like and subscribe if you like what you saw. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video. And thanks for stopping by, all right?